Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men.
March 31st. Franklin Graham. Franklin, the son of American evangelist Billy Graham, is a well-known evangelist, missionary, and author. He serves as president and CEO of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association and of Samaritan's Purse, an international Christian relief organization. Franklin has conducted evangelistic festivals, formerly called crusades, across the U.S. and in 49 other countries. He meets with world leaders and encourages people to engage in civic opportunities in their own locales. His own heart is with people affected by war, poverty, and natural disasters. He says, "I have been called to the slums of the streets and the ditches of the world." On this date, in 2019, Franklin's organization, Samaritan's Purse, finished their 7th annual Operation Heal Our Patriots, a retreat held at an Alaskan wilderness lodge and designed to minister spiritually, emotionally, and physically to wounded veterans and their spouses. Here's today's story. The fight for identity is real. Be your own man. Franklin Graham wanted to create his own path through life, aside from his famous father, and therefore, aside from Jesus. He was a mischievous boy, but that turned into pure rebellion, and he enjoyed testing the limits. "My mother was going to insist that I got up in time to get to school at a proper time," Graham said. "So, I started locking my door so she couldn't come in, and she started sliding firecrackers under the door. And with the rebellion came consequences. Instead of getting my esteem from achieving within the system, I got my thrills and identity from challenging the system," Graham said. This behavior led him to be expelled from high school and kicked out of college. His childish defiance had turned into a lifestyle that was a far cry from his dad's reputation as a global gospel preacher. Growing up in a faith-filled house, Franklin had always believed God existed. He just wanted to run his own life. He thought that drinking heavily, smoking, and anything else that brought him pleasure would be much more fulfilling. But the further he ran, the emptier he felt. "I realized for the first time that sin had control over my life. Franklin Graham was not in charge, but sin was, and there was absolutely nothing I could do in my own power to overcome it." But on his birthday, in 1974, he had just finished a trip to Switzerland with his father when his dad sat him down, looked him in the eye, and said, "I want you to know that your mother and I sense there is a struggle for the soul of your life. And there is no halfway. Either you're going to have to accept Jesus Christ and what he says and obey him and follow him, or you'll have to reject him. There is no middle ground." Those few words stuck with 22-year-old Franklin as he traveled across Europe, bottle of scotch in hand, his mind replaying the conversation with his father over and over again. He was running hard from the one thing he knew that could bring him back to the man he was made to be. Well, a few weeks later, one night in Jerusalem, instead of his normal nightly routine at the bars, Franklin stayed in his hotel room reading through the Gospel of John. "When I came to the 3rd chapter, I read not only that Jesus told Nicodemus he had to be born again, but I also grasped that Franklin Graham had to be born again as well." That night, Franklin found what he was so desperately searching for: belonging and rest. His days of running were over. That one conversation had changed his life forever. "I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. My years of running and rebellion had ended. It was finished." Franklin Graham had found the freedom of God that is found only in the gospel. The Apostle Paul talks about this freedom in 2 Corinthians 3:17, which says, "For the Lord is spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." When somebody challenges you with the truth, especially someone close to you, are you willing to listen and accept it? The fight for identity is real. Be your own man.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.